Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? Well, let me just tell you, this is not my first take at the vlog. As you can see, I already have my Diet Coke poured. I've been having problems with my camera. Okay, so let me tell you what happened. I was like 10 minutes into the vlog, and I was talking about the sky, because I could see the sky. You see that, like, that's the sky in the background. And I wasn't sure. I was like, what is that back there? And I was like, oh, it's the sky. And then I just poked my nose. And then I turned around, and when I turned around, it was flashing at me as if, like, the battery was about to die. And then I was, like, started looking for my other battery, and while I was doing that, the battery died. And I didn't have my other battery. So then I had to go inside. Okay, not take two, okay, because that was 10 minutes. So I came back, and then I explained about the battery. Take two, I came back with the new battery, and I said, that I couldn't find my third battery, which I just found. It's in here, okay? But it's dead, I think. So my first battery is inside charging. I couldn't find my third battery. That was number one. Number two was when I was walking inside the house, because we had such powerful storms, which I'm going to tell you about in just a second. Tonight, it's still like raining a little. Not raining, but it's like dripping from like the overhang on our front porch, and we have plants right there. And so when I was standing on the front door getting ready to walk inside, it like some raindrops like hit, or water hit like the plants, and it sounded like footsteps. And I swear to God, I thought somebody had like rushed me like from behind, you know, like when I was walking in from the vlog. This has all happened and you'll never see it. And let me tell you why. Okay. So then I'm telling all this story, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm going on about what, you know, I started talking about my day. I talked about the good place and all this kind of stuff. I'm gonna retell it all. Don't worry. You're not gonna lose any exciting news of my life about the good place and all this other kind of stuff in The Handmaid's Tale when I had it for dinner and everything else. But, so I got back out here. Well, I'm trying to adjust it like this, and I keep on taking my picture instead of starting it, right? Now, this would be like the third video thing, right? Because I did the first one, and then I oh, that's what happened. I was adjusting it, and I stopped it, and then when I went to go turn it back on again, it took my picture, like this, okay? And then it took my picture again. So I went in, and there's this thing that you can do on the camera where it's like you select the image, or you select whatever you want to delete, but you don't delete everything. You just go through and and this is new. My old camera wasn't like this. My old camera, it would just like pull up that thing, and then you just delete that thing. You pull up that thing, and you delete this thing. This one lined them up all in a row, and you have to check mark the ones you want, right? So I go in and I check mark just the ones that I wanted to delete, which were just the pictures, which there were, I think, 3 of them at that point now, which were basically just like me like this, okay? It was stupid. And so anyway, so I go in to delete them, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking right at it. I'm sitting there looking right at the camera, and it says delete all images, okay, which is the exact same thing it says in my other camera, and I hit click yes. Thinking, I don't know what I was thinking in that moment, but I was thinking delete all images like that I've checked or something. I don't know. And as soon as it happened, I was like, oh shit. And and then I went and looked, and it was like, there's no images on the, I had deleted everything that I had just recorded. So I deleted it wasn't long. It was like 15 minutes, but still I was like, oh my God. And I had already said that I didn't think this was going to be a long vlog tonight. Because it's getting late. It's 3:24 now. It was like 3 o'clock then. So just imagine it's a lot later now. So, and the other battery's inside charging. So when this battery starts to die, I'm probably going to get off here. If not sooner, tonight. Because my vlogs have been really long lately. My vlog yesterday was 1 hour and 40 minutes. So, hell's bells. Nobody needs to watch 1 hour and 40 minutes. I know Lisa in the Cult Jam, she's still waiting for her 3-hour vlog. She might get it. She has a better chance of getting it while I'm sitting in the driveway than she does me driving around, which is so funny to me, you know? It seems like time flies. I gotta lock my door. Yeah, I got it locked already. It seems like time flies a little bit more while I'm sitting out here versus me driving around. I also have to tell you, like, because I can see it out of the corner of my eye right now. You know when I say, like, oh, I think there's something over there, right? What it is it's the shadow of me. Here, I'll show you. You can see. Do you see that right there? Watch. It's the shadow. And then I get freaked out because it's when I'm moving my hand talking, because I always talk with my hands. And I see it over there and I think like there's somebody walking by over there, but it's just my hand. So we use science to get rid of that that spook sensation of where I thought I was like being spooked by the spirits. Anyway, how are you guys doing today? Oh my God. What a way to start the vlog. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna end it right here. No, I'm joking. That's where you guys all go and you look and see how long the vlog was. I love when I say, this is gonna be a short vlog, and then you guys go look, and it's like an hour and 40 minutes. Somebody said that yesterday in the comments. Anyway, let's start with where we left off. Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start when you begin with ABCs. Do, re, mi, do, re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. When you know the notes to sing, you can sing most anything. I loved the Sound of Music when I was growing up as a kid. Oh my God, I dreamed of being Maria. I so wanted to be Maria so bad. And then, like, I would always have, like, stuffed animals. This is when I was a real little kid. And then I always had stuffed animals, and I always made them be the mean sisters in the convent, because they were always as mean sisters, you know, about the trouble about Maria, or whatever that song is called. But anyway, I loved that movie so much when I was a kid. I always thought that Liesel was, like, so pretty. And you guys want to hear what's so funny about this is, so my one aunt on my dad's side, she's kind of obsessed with the movie as well. And she named her kids after the kids in the movie. No, I truly do have a cousin named Liesel. True story, okay? Don't think I don't. Anyway, and my aunt went to, I don't know if you know this, but the Von Trapp family singers, the Von Trapps, they ended up buying a ski lodge in Vermont. And my aunt went there and visited it and saw it and everything, because she's like the world's biggest Sound of Music fan. True. It's a true story. Anyway, this is my dad's. So my dad's brother died, and then it's his sister, and then it's his next sister down. So this is my dad's, like, this is the third child in the family. My dad's the fifth, so this would be the third. My dad's really close with all of his siblings. I actually talked to my dad for a while today on the phone. They got their groceries, so they're real set. It's actually really nice. I have like a group of people that I try to call like every day or every other day. I have like, okay, so like half of them I'm like calling every day, and then half I'm calling like the other day, if that makes sense. Or, you know, like it just kind of depends on how much time I had. Today I have to say, like, I wasn't really in the mood to be like super chatty on the phone. But it was really, and like a couple people that I usually call, I didn't call today. But I have to say what's really nice is just like actually like setting out some time to like call and talk to people. Like, whereas before, I don't know if this makes sense what I'm saying, but like, whereas before it's always like, I'm getting ready to go do this, or I'm getting ready to go do that, and I'm like on the phone talking while I'm like driving, or, you know, I'm like, okay, I've got to go do this. And often it's like that still, like, I'm like, okay, I want to film these videos, so I got to get off here, I'll call you back later, or whatever, and then it becomes too late, and then I don't call, and whatever. Valerie, that's Valerie tonight, I apologize. She even told me I could call her at 1 o'clock in the morning, but I was dead asleep at 1 o'clock in the morning. But I did talk to her earlier today, too, when I was sitting outside having my Diet Coke, waiting for my videos to upload. Oh, I did have a Diet Coke earlier today. That was the old vlog. That was the vlog that got... Just don't even worry about it. I was saying in there, when I was pouring my Diet Coke tonight, that I have literally been waiting for this Diet Coke all day long, because I wanted to have it in this glass right here. I even went through and threw out a bunch of our glasses tonight. No, not my palm tree glasses. I'm not throwing those out. And not the other, but I threw out a bunch of glasses tonight that we don't use. And I just was like, because Alex was like, do you think we could get rid of some of these so that we can make room for the 400 new plastic glasses that you have? I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I went through, and we have so many glasses that I haven't used in forever. So I just got like rid of those. And so now we have room for that. But I was so excited for my Diet Coke. But like, I kind of like make my Diet Coke like a treat now throughout the day. I make a coffee, but my coffee kind of lasts me like throughout the day. I just add ice to it. So anyway, after I got done uploading my videos, when I was like waiting for them, or after I got done rendering them, I was waiting for them to upload to YouTube. I made like a Diet Coke and talked to Valerie and talked to Tanya. So Valerie was struggling today, being inside, because she's at, you know, she hasn't left and she's at her house by herself, and she's just like, I need to talk to someone. You know, but that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's a nice thing about, you know, like, I feel like when people are reaching out to me or calling me, or I'm reaching out and talking to somebody else, it's like, it's sure like we're doing it to like talk to each other, but at the same time, it's like, it's nice, excuse me, to have like a little like network, like of, like a team, you know, of people that we're checking in on every couple days. Oh, I talked to Caroline today too, my cousin Caroline, and I saw Tanya today, but from far away. I'll tell you about it. Okay, so last night, what was I gonna say? Oh, last night, when I got done vlogging, I sat out here and I listened to more of the Tara Westover book, Educated, which I want to talk about in a second, because I want to watch this whole interview. But I found this, I randomly, you guys, I was just going through YouTube and it just came up. I couldn't believe it. It was this Soulful Sunday of hers, and it was called, I talked about it on my Peter Isms video today. Oh, I should probably look it up. I could probably look it up. Oh my God, right here, this is where the iPhone thing, it's like if you say it out loud, it pulls it up on your phone. I literally opened my phone and it says author Terry Westover's incredible story about leaving her strict survivalist family on the Ellen show. But that wasn't what I was talking about. I was talking about, okay. Well, you know what? I wonder if I open this one, if I pull it up, if it'll pull up the Soulful Sundays. I bet it will. Shoot, no. It just pulled up Ellen stuff. Hold on a second. Oh, there's the whole Super Soulful Sunday. What is this? I'm gonna watch that one later. Oh my God. Educated author Tara Westover answers your questions, PBS newsletter. Tara Westover and growing up as a Mormon survivalist. So many on her. Okay, so this is the whole interview right here on Oprah's Soulful Sunday. If I can get out of this stupid ads. Super Soul Sunday, Tara Westover. And then the one that I watched today, though, shoot, where is it? Where is it at? I love Oprah so much. Okay, this one doesn't have the clips. And I want to make sure that because I talked about it. Tara Westover singing. Huh. Oh, she did a TED Talk. I'll have to watch that. Okay, here it is. You can love someone and still choose to say goodbye. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. And I have to say, this book is really good. But the book is, I wouldn't say the best book that I've ever read in my entire life. It's interesting that my cousin Caroline said it's so good. I have to believe that it's going to get a lot better. I'm 4 hours into it, maybe 4. I'm like 4.5 hours into it now. And I didn't listen to it for a long time last night because I was tired by the time I got done. It's good. It's not what I expected, and but it's very, very interesting. But it's about this girl that, like, she has huge issues with her family, and she grows up not going to school, not having a birth certificate, living on the mountain with a survivalist family, and, like, she has a brother that's very cruel to her, and her dad is always kind of like judging her from a religious point of view. And then her mother is a midwife and tries to be understanding, but is very fearful of the dad at the same time. It's just really interesting. So anyway, I'll talk about that in a second. But so last night I listened to my book for, I don't know, maybe an hour. And then I played Words with Friends. But I didn't play for as long as I usually do because it was like late. And I wanted to finish the second season of The Good Place, so I went inside and had some onion dip and chips and peanut butter, the nuggets with the peanut butter and pretzels, which I absolutely love. I ordered some more on Amazon because I'm almost gone. So I got the tub at Amazon from Amazon, and then, which the ones from Amazon are just as good as the Kirkland ones from Costco, but you can actually get the Kirkland ones on Amazon, I saw the other day, but they're like 11 something, and the other ones are like 8 something, and it's basically the exact same size, because I have another full one inside from Costco, because I bought it, and then when I started getting low on this one, I was like, I'm ordering some more, because this is the one thing that's getting me by right now that I love so much. So I did that, had a big glass of orange juice too, and I watched like 2 or 3 episodes of The Good Place, and then I went to bed. It was late when I went to bed last night, and I knew I had to get up early. Not early, well, I didn't have to get up early, but we had to be out of the house to go take the dogs to the vet, even though it was in the afternoon. I didn't have to be up super early. And Alex slept in too last night. I woke up, it was so warm. Today it was like 78, 80 all day today. It was so beautiful outside. And we had the windows open, and it was warm in the house. I like woke up and I was kind of like a little sweaty. I was like, it's kind of hot in here. So I turned the air conditioning on, and I want to talk about dreams in a second too, because my friend posted this article and I haven't read it yet, but I've seen so many people posting stuff about having really vivid dreams right now. They're talking about it being supposedly related to anxiety and stress, so I want to talk about that in a second. But, so we got up, and we got the dogs ready, and then Alex and I drove to the vet, which, our vet is, like, really close to where Tanya's kennel is, and she was mowing the lawn there, because I had talked to her on the way over there. And so we did the vet thing. We still can't go into the vet. So Alex just took him up to the door, and then, like, they went inside and they got their little shots. They were so cute. They were such good boys. And they didn't cry or anything when they came out. And they just came back out and they got in the car, and they were so sweet. And they just laid in the back the whole time. It was like they liked it. And then they got treats and stuff when they got home. But Tanya was like, I haven't seen Tanya in over like 2 weeks. I don't even know when the last time I saw her was, except for a Zoom meeting. Like, we talk, but we don't FaceTime. So she was like, well, why don't you drive by the kennel? She was like, and I'll just stay by the door, over by the door, and you can pull in the circular drive. So if you guys haven't been to, if you haven't seen, well, if you haven't been, obviously, but if you haven't seen the kennel, like when I've shown it on vlogs, she has like a gravel driveway that you can like pull in straight, and then like you take your dogs into, like, it goes up the staircase. And then she has this huge, like, she's surrounded by woods and yard. And then she has a circular drive that goes up in front of her office, which is like a different part of the kennel. And so we pulled up to that part, and Tanya stayed like 50 feet away. And I was like, and so we just kind of like talked to each other for a second, like through just got me like real emotional. Like, but you know, like Tanya and I are both like right now, we're just like, this is what's best, you know, like, I don't know, like, we don't want to take any risk, but, you know, like, I don't want to get sick, and her husband is older, and he isn't doing anything, and, like, Tanya, like, everything that she does, besides, like, you know, going to the kennel, she was, like, mowing the lawn there today, everything she does, whenever she interacts with somebody, I mean, she is, like, deeply, like, gloved, and, wearing masks, or wearing a mask, so, yeah, I just can't. And I'm okay with that. You know, like, I thought I would have a harder time with that. We've, like, talked about it. It was really good to see her. Like, you know, I mean, like, I got, like, real emotional, like, when we drove away, and it was really great to see her. But at the same time, like, you know, I was talking to my sponsor about this today. Because, like, some friends of ours are, like, starting to, like, kind of, like, do stuff, right? When, like, not with a lot of people, but, like, maybe with, like, one other friend, or, like, you know, another couple or something, and I'm not judging them. I mean, people have to make their own choices, right, you know? And so I was talking to my sponsor today on the phone, and I was just like, yeah, I don't, like, know how I feel about that, you know? And she was like, you know, I'm not a rule follower by nature, and she was like, I don't think most alcoholics and addicts are. I think most of us are resistant, but we've learned to follow rules through time, and that's how the world works for us. She said, you know, I don't think it's a lot to ask for me to sit inside the house for 2 to 3 weeks to help keep myself safe and other people safe. And she's like, I just don't think it's a lot to ask. And she was like, you know, so when people are asking my opinion, I don't tell them what I think that they should do. They have to make that decision on their own. She said, but for me, I can stay inside my house. I don't have to go anywhere. She's like, I've got all the food I need, blah, 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 whatever. Which, by the way, I do want to say this, because I've gotten so many messages from people saying, why don't you just have your food delivered? Why don't you just have your food delivered? Why don't you just have your food delivered? Okay. I have no problem having my food delivered. In fact, today I was talking to Melissa on the phone, and Melissa was trying to help me use this app that she uses. But she's like, but Peter, she was like, you know, we went and got a bunch of groceries before. Melissa she's always got, like, I mean, if she has one mayonnaise, she's got 10. She always, like, bulk buys. She always has ever since I've known her. Paper towels, toilet paper, anything you can possibly, or cat food, dog food, anything you could possibly imagine, she's got, like, surplus supply of it. So she said, well, we haven't been using the delivery service. And I said, well, because I tried to today directly to the stores, and both of them said that they didn't have any times until, like, Sunday, and that I needed to check back in on Friday to see if those Sunday times were available. So I couldn't even make the order today. So she got on this app and she started looking at it, and she was like, yeah, there's no available times. And I was like, for when? Today or tomorrow? And she's like, the rest of the week. And I was like, well, when can you? And she was like, yeah, I don't know. And so then tonight I got on Walmart, because somebody in the comment section recommended Walmart. And it, like, when it takes me to the time, it says that there are no available times. And then the same thing with the Costco one. So I don't know, like, I'm more than willing to, like, order stuff. I also don't want to just, like, order, like, we're not out of anything right now. Like, I don't want to just order mayonnaise, you know what I mean? Like, and pay, like, a delivery fee or a pickup fee, and I'm fine picking stuff up. But I would prefer just to have it delivered, in all honesty, and just, you know, tip a nice tip for somebody that's out there working. And, but I don't really want to do it until, like, I'm getting out of some stuff, but it's not stuff that I need. Like, I'm almost out of, like, well, I will be out of potato chips tonight or tomorrow, depending on how much I eat. But, like, I don't need them. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's not something I need. So I don't know. So if anybody has any suggestions on how to get it same day, because it's not that I'm not trying, it's just like every time I get on there, like the Amazon thing, I actually did it on here last night, and there were no available times for the, like, through the rest of the week. And Instacart, I know that they're like, I think there's something going on with Instacart, right? Like, they're picketing, or not picketing. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm talking about. They're not working right now or something. I don't know. Some of them, Tony was telling me about it. But anyway, I don't know anything about that. But I do know that on Instacart, I definitely can't get anything. So I'm more than willing to, like, order stuff. But, I mean, I'm trying to order as much from, like, Amazon right now that I can. I will say, like, bathroom stuff is nice. Like, well, we've got enough toothpaste and stuff like that. But, that I can order that stuff, you know, and dog food through Amazon. We've been getting our dog food through Amazon for the last 2 years anyway, so that's nothing new. And we have enough dog food right now for the next month, so we're completely fine with that. That was dog food and treats. That was like the first thing that I made sure that we had enough of. I did order something on Amazon today, though. What did I order? Oh my God, you guys, you know what I ordered today on Amazon? I need a pedicure like nobody's business. And I was gonna get one before we went to Florida. And then of course we didn't go to Florida. So I haven't had a pedicure. Well, I usually get one like every 3 weeks. And I mean, this is total first world problems, right? But it's now been like 7-8 weeks. And I mean, I still clip my toenails and stuff like that. Like, they're short. But, so I got one of those. It was like, I looked at the different ones to buy. And it was honestly, the one I bought was the one that would get here the soonest. I was going to buy that petty egg thing on As Seen on TV. But they only had like one, and it was like, would be shipped on like the 28th. So I bought this Dr. Scholl's one that's supposed to like smooth your feet and everything. I'm like real kind of excited to get it. It's supposed to come on Sunday or Monday. So we'll see about that. I got kind of sad about Easter tonight. I was looking at Alex and I said it's kind of sad. You know, like my cousin and I, we always get together for Easter and we always do some kind of like Easter dinner or something and, you know, wear a bright colored shirt and, you know, even though it's just us, you know, I don't know, it kind of makes me sad. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that, you know, like, I don't know, what do you do for Easter egg hunts and stuff like that? You know what I mean? I mean, you can still do it if you have a lot of family, but like if you just have like one kid or something, you know? I mean, I don't know. My cousin and I always did Easter egg hunts together. It was the two of us, but then I feel like it was like some of the neighborhood kids too. My mom loved Easter. Easter was my mom's favorite holiday. She loved it. She loved all of the holidays leading up to Easter too. She loved, you know, like Palm Sunday. She loved seeing all the kids come down the aisle and singing that Hosanna, Hosanna. And my mom went to all of the services, the Good Friday services, the Maundy Thursday, the Ash Wednesday. She went to all of the services. And she was really involved in her church too, but my mom loved Easter Sunday and just the whole meaning of it. So I got kind of sad about that tonight. I don't know why. I just thought it's kind of weird. This is like the first holiday that's kind of like hit us since this has all been going on. Anyway, so last night, after I got done listening to my audiobook and playing Words with Friends, I went inside and I watched a couple episodes of The Good Place. Did I already say all this? I said all this, didn't I? And then, okay, so whatever. And then I went to bed, and then we went to all that. And then I came home today, and then Alex, I made videos for like 3+ hours. And in between, I like kind of took my time. In between, I was like reading and whatever. I started reading, I bought this book like at Target before some trip that we were going on. And then I never read the book, even though I hauled it with me everywhere we went. It's called Supermarket, and it's by the guy who, it's not his, like his music name is Logic, but like, it's like, I can't remember, it's like John Hall or something like that. And I started that. It's actually pretty good. I'm like really impressed with it. It very much reminds me, and it was so funny because I was sitting here and I was like thinking about it while I had like my finger in, you know, like between the pages. I was like holding it, looking at the cover, and I was like, this book like reminds me so much of, oh shoot, the J.D. Salinger book, Catcher in the Rye. I was like, the way that the character talks and everything reminds me so much of Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. And then I'm looking at the cover of it, and I'm like, this cover looks like the cover to Catcher in the Rye. Like, literally, like the cover of Catcher in the Rye. Well, there's two covers. One of them is like white with green on it and black. And then the other cover is like, kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. It just is like, what do you call it? It looks like wrapping paper. Not wrapping paper like for Christmas, but like meat wrapping paper or something, but darker. And then it just says Catcher in the Rye on it in yellow lettering, I think. And that's like the most famous copy of it. And Supermarket just is exactly like that. It just says Supermarket across it. And it's just that kind of same kind of like, what do you call it? Like just paper or whatever. But it's pretty good. He just is really, really verbose. It's like, you know, instead of like, almost to a point of like, it's too much. Like he's like trying maybe a little too hard. I don't know. Which I totally relate to, because like, when I wrote my first book, which could still use so much editing, I mean, was I at a half an hour already? It just stopped on me. Anyway, but I can't tell yet if the reason that he does it in the book, like, he won't just say, like, the guy walked to the ocean. He'll say, the guy meandered up and down the rolling streets of the East Coast with the sand on the side of the road to the blue azure ocean with the rippling white waves. I mean, it's okay. It's very detailed and interesting to read. It's kind of fun to read that way, right? But at the same time, it's like, oh, it's too much. It's like saturation. But I feel like he does it that way on purpose. And the other thing that's really, really interesting is that he does the fourth wall. And the fourth wall is when the author speaks right to you. And I live for books that do that. And he even talks about it in there. He goes, didn't think something about the fourth wall. And I was like, oh my God, this is genius, right? And he's like talking right to the reader. And I have so many times started the book, Italo Calvino's If on a Winter's Night a Traveler, and I've never finished the book. And there's elements of this that remind me of that. Very smart. He's very, very smart writer, this kid. He's probably 35, 30 or something like that. I actually don't know. I'll tell you what his real name is. Here, I'll actually read the synopsis for you. I'm not that far into it. Supermarket. It's about a kid that's like 24 and he goes to work in a supermarket. It's the number one bestseller. Hold on a second. Bobby Hall is his name. How old is he? Let's see here. Let's pull him up on the Wikipedia. 1990. So he's 30. Okay, the number one, here I'm going to pull it up on Google Books. Woo! Oh man, somebody gave it 2 stars. Flynn is stuck, depressed, recently dumped, and living at his mom's house. The supermarket was supposed to change all that. An ordinary job and a steady check. Work isn't work when it's saving you from yourself. But things aren't quite as they seem in these aisles. Arriving to work one day to a crime scene, Flynn's world collapses as the secrets of his tortured mind are revealed. And Flynn doesn't want to go looking for answers at the supermarket because something there seems to be looking for him. A darkly funny psychological thriller, Supermarket is a gripping exploration of madness and creativity. Who knew you could find sex, drugs, and murder all in aisle 9? The stunning debut novel from one of the most creative artists of our generation, Bobby Hall, aka Logic. Bobby Hall has crafted a mind-bending first novel with prose that is just as fierce and moving as his lyrics. Supermarket is like Naked Lunch meets One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. If they met at Fight Club. Ernest Cline. Oh, Ernest Cline said that. New York Times bestselling author of Ready Player One, which is one of my all-time favorite books. I mean, it definitely has elements of all of those in it. Like, mostly probably like Naked Lunch and Fight Club. I don't know so much of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I don't get that from it. Well, not yet. But I would say, what's interesting to me is, there's very much a Salinger vibe to it. When you read Salinger and you read, you know, Catcher in the Rye or Franny and Zoe, which we read for our book club, and, you know, Raise High the Roof Beams Carpenters, which I've read like some of that, and I've read some of 9 Stories, but definitely Catcher in the Rye. He just really has that Holden Caulfield like voice to him. I mean, it was like really like right. I wish I had the book with me. I would just read you some of it. So anyway, I read some of that today. Alex did a Zoom, like, champagne cocktail hour with his girlfriends, like 5 of them, and they all had champagne, and so he sat on the front porch and had champagne and waved to the neighbors and did his little Zoom thing today while I was like filming videos, and then I had a Diet Coke on the back porch and all that kind of stuff. And then when that was done, we made dinner. He had pizza rolls. I don't know how much. I'm like, the last time I vlogged and this time are starting to blend together, so I don't know what I said and what I didn't say. But anyway, did I already talk about Tara Westover? Is that the last vlog, or is that this vlog? I'm like so confused. But anyway, because that was then too, that when I was sitting on the patio, I found that video today. That was before I made my Peterisms video though. And then we made dinner, and he had an entire bag of pizza rolls. And I was like, halfway through, I was like so hungry for a pizza roll, and I was like, are those cheese pizza rolls? He was like, no, these are the Supremes. And I was like, damn it, because we have like cheese pizza rolls in there too. So, and he dipped them in marinara sauce. I had a cheese sandwich with my peanut butter bites and macaroni and cheese with hot sauce in it, just like a cup of it. I'm like obsessed with that macaroni and cheese with hot sauce in it. It's like my new favorite thing. Yeah, and then that was it. And then we watched 2 episodes of The Handmaid's Tale. We have 1 more episode left of season 1. I'm loving it now. I mean, it was really slow at first, you guys, but I'm absolutely loving it now. It's so far away from the book at this point. I mean, there's some things that happen in the book that, well, this is interesting. Okay, first of all, it's very, very rarely that I say this about a book-to-movie adaptation or a book-to-show adaptation. The book and the movie are both in their own right so fantastic. And let me tell you why. The book was absolutely genius. And I think that the way that Margaret Atwood actually kept it kind of refined, and it wasn't like overdrawn and drawn out and whatever, because it would have been too much in a book. It really would have. But when you watch the show, she goes in, like, Moira in the show is such a bigger part than she ever was in the book. And in the book, it would have been too much, because, like, the book would have ended up being 10,000 pages, because it would have gone off into this direction and that direction, this direction. But, like, in the show, it really works. There's all of these exploding storylines all over the place, right? Like Jeanette, who is so fantastic in the show, of Warren, she's not like a big part. She's a part of the book, I believe. Yeah, I believe she's a part of the book, but she's not a huge part of the book. Like in the show, she's a pretty big part of the show, and she's fantastic in the show. And so I was watching it tonight, and I was like, in the context of watching it in a show, like they have done such a great job to go in and further explain the background story. It's almost kind of like this. Like, it feels like this. Like if you read the book, but then you took a master class on the book, and the master class is watching the show, if that makes sense. Like, you go in and you don't really, like, there's just so many things, like, in the book that you have no idea what direction they're going in or what it's about. Like, even when you're done with the book, like, you still don't know, right? But the movie goes in, or the show goes in, and it really explains some of those things. And I've heard that after the first season, it just kind of completely leaves the book. But I'm trying to think of what else. Well, I don't want to say for people that haven't watched the show, but I will say this, it's fantastic. I do think it's leading a lot to my dreams that I'm having, like my scary dreams, are very close to like kind of feelings of the show, if that makes sense. So I do think that the show is kind of affecting that. Clouds are moving so fast, my God. It's like one of those nights. Did I talk about that earlier already on this one? I talked about it on the other one, I know. It was so beautiful today. It was like 78 outside, and then all of a sudden, like, it just started moving in, the dark skies, and I was sitting on the back patio, And that's when Alex came in and he was like, do you want to get something to eat and we can watch the show? And I was like, yeah, sure. And it literally all of a sudden was just like pelting against the door. Well, it won't play on here if I play it because my phone, I have to hook up through Bluetooth or I have to hook it up on an auxiliary cord. But on my Instagram, I played it, like standing inside. It wasn't hail, but it sounded like hail. Not like hail, yes, but like hail. It sounded like hail. And then when we came outside, there were like tree limbs and stuff like everywhere. This was what was so crazy about it, was it literally moved in like 15 or 20 minutes and then it was gone. It was like really nice outside and then came through. Oh, this was the other thing too. It was like 70 plus degrees. It says it's 54 outside. Now, you know, whenever it says it's a certain temperature outside, it's always a lot colder. I wonder how cold it is right now. It can't be like 44. It feels colder, but because this is what happened. So the rain came through and it was like 75 degrees. And then the rain moved through. And when I walked outside, it had dropped like 20 degrees. Like it was the freakiest thing. But yeah, the rain didn't stay for very long. 49 degrees outside right now. What is it supposed to be tomorrow? Let's see. Today, 49. What's the highest it's supposed to get? 49. 56, 61. Cold. All next week. In the 60s. Yeah, Valerie texted me. What did she say? This was so funny. What the hell was that? All of that rain, she said. Anyway, I wanted to read this article that my friend posted. Hold on a second. I'm gonna read this. Why does my Facebook always take so long to pull up? I'm never gonna be able to pull this up because that say? I'm like in my head like thinking, who was my friend that I saw? Okay, here. Okay, here it is. Oh, I guess it was a comment somebody left. Where was the comment? I hate when I can't find something that I'm looking for, and the Facebook is so slow. So my friend posted, anybody having more vivid or weird dreams, anybody having more vivid or weird dreams during the lockdown madness, because I know I am. They are epic. Why won't it pull up the comments? Okay. Where is it? Oh, view previous comments. Okay. I thought I saw somebody walking over there. My lord, how many comments did it get on this thing? Here it is. This is from the LA Times lifestyle section. April 7th, 2020. You're not imagining it. We're all having intense coronavirus dreams. Okay. What do a tidal wave, lethal injection, and masses of thin white worms have in common? They are all images that have cropped up in dreams people are having about the coronavirus pandemic. Many people are reporting more vivid dreams while self-quarantining, taking to social media to comment on the phenomenon. Take a moment to think back on your dreams over the past few weeks. Have they seemed a little more intense or upsetting than usual? And somebody posted, quarantine has given me the most vivid and weird dreams I've ever had in my entire life. Someone said, I feel pain in my right shoulder and see a huge grasshopper-like insect there. It already has chewed through the fabric of my sweater and is now gouging my flesh. I mean, my dreams are this weird. One respondent described in a dream survey currently underway and conducted by the author of the Committee of Sleep, how artists, scientists, and athletes use their dreams for creative problem solving, and how you can too. And an assistant professor, okay, whatever, we don't care. Barrett supports the idea that people are remembering more vivid dreams while in quarantine, and is currently studying dreams that people are having about the pandemic. That's where the coronavirus pandemic. That's where the tidal wave, lethal injection, and worms imagery originated. I haven't had any of those dreams. I feel like maybe a wave. They all serve within the dreams of people responding to our survey. I've seen a lot of bug dreams. I haven't had any bug dreams. In Barrett's survey, respondents have reported dreams that are clearly related to contracting the coronavirus, contracting the illness themselves, or having an aging parent become sick. Others are more metaphorical, like dreams about insects. And while many are experiencing wilder dreams, doctors and nurses may be experiencing the phenomenon more intensely than others. It's my informal impression that healthcare providers are having more extreme nightmares, Barrett explains. But why are people dreaming so vividly during the pandemic? First of all, changes in one's routine can stir up dream recall, explains Barrett. When waking life is more vivid, so is dream life. My patients routinely increase dreaming at all times like this. Naaman draws a parallel between the gut, which decides what food we consume is useful and what is waste, and the brain, which similarly consumes and broadcast. When we observe something normal, our brains don't need to digest it, he says. However, when something out of the ordinary happens, like a pandemic, our brains may process the experience through dreaming. That's why difficult to digest experiences may give us dreams. Naaman explains, at a time like this, we're all directly or symbolically digesting information about the threat, about contagion, he says. Speaking of symbolism, Barrett, also an artist, makes art inspired by her dreams. Below is a piece inspired by a pandemic dream she experienced titled Help, I Can't Wake Up. It's a bird person. I don't know if I can show it to you, if it'll show up on here, but can you see? It's a bird person, and then it's got like kind of some weird eyes and stuff in here. I'm trying to get it over to the area, but it won't do it. Okay, do you see? I don't really care for it so much. It doesn't really do a whole lot for me, but hey, good. Like, art is subjective. Another major, it kind of makes me uncomfortable, honestly, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Another major, I'm just kind of joking, to be real with you. Don't come for me. Another major reason why we're dreaming like crazy, many of us are getting more sleep than usual while cooped up inside. Dream recall is very correlated with how many hours of sleep you get, and most Americans run around pretty sleep deprived. Okay, and it goes into all of that. It's also possible that people may be dreaming more about aspects of life they missed while in quarantine. Nope, that's not it. Recommend journaling. Okay. Discussing their dreams with a trusted loved one can go hand in hand with dream journaling. That's what I'm doing. I'm sharing it with you guys. I feel so much better. You guys are helping me so much. What is that? That's pretty. What is that? Hey, listen, I was going to order some stuff off of that Wish app, but I don't know how safe it is to order things off that Wish app. Is it safe? Have any of you ordered stuff off of there before? Let me know if you have. I would really like to know. I just want to say, several people commented last night, or commented on my video from yesterday about me talking about Jason Nash. Okay, so in all fairness, I have not watched it. I never really was a Jason Nash fan or watcher or anything. I didn't really know much about him. I only started watching him when he started dating Trisha Paytas, and I was like covering a lot of that, and I started watching him, and I watched his videos and things like that. So I would say 85% of what I know about Jason Nash comes from his interactions with Trisha. The other 15%, I would say, comes with his interactions with David Dobrik, who I'm not somebody that watches David Dobrik on a regular basis. He's fine. I have no issues with him. He's just not my cup of tea. So anyway, I mean, like, it's And I don't even mean that. I don't really think of him one way or the other. Like, I don't think like, ooh, he's great, or ooh, I can't stand him. I just don't really have any emotional attachment to him. I've watched some of the Vlog Squad videos, and I'm just like, it is what it is. But since everybody said that last night, and they're like, a couple people said, I think it was like Patty Cakes or somebody said, like, I can't remember who left the original comment, but said that my humor was very similar to them, and so I went and I watched several Jason Nash videos today, and I watched, they played a game, he and the Vlog Squad. I watched him like cooking a meal with his family. I watched him going grocery shopping and going to get Starbucks with some members of the Vlog Squad, and they call him like Vlog Dad and things like that. Yeah, they're okay. His humor, I like his, like, they're not bad. Like, they're not what I thought they were, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. It was interesting going back and watching them. There was one that I really, really liked. What was it? I can see how people think that our humor is similar. I do. So, anyway, but I just wanted you guys to know that I'm, like, always open to hearing the things that you guys say. So, I did go in there and I watched, where is it at? I just pulled, here it is. So I will tell you what videos I watched of his. Oh no, I didn't see this one. Talking to people about the recovery, I didn't see that one. The last one that was up, that was 8 hours ago, so it was before that I started watching these. Vlog Squad plays the Florida Man game with the Vlog Squad. I watched that one. That one was cute. Life Without My Friends was cute. Vlog Squad's, I didn't watch that one. We went to an exclusive virtual nightclub. That one was really funny. And then baking an epic cake for my family. That one was really funny. And those were the ones. Oh, no, wait. There was one more that I watched. Where was the one where they went shopping? Where is it? It was from March. It was like March 10th or something. Because I looked at the date. Because I was like, he was talking about like, oh, I also, wait, here it is, cooking a steak dinner for the Vlog Squad, because at the beginning of it, he goes to Starbucks and whatever. What kind of car does he drive? Like, the inside of the car is beautiful. He goes to Starbucks, and he gets, like, his coffee with coconut milk, and then he goes and he picks him up, and then he takes him to go grocery shopping and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like, he's fine. Like, you know, like, when I watched it, I was like, I understood. I guess I thought his humor was really, really crass, because there were some times, like, with Trisha and things, like, where it just kind of, like, bordered on some of that. Which I don't even mind. So it was interesting because people like put in the comment section, they were like, yeah, like your humor is very similar to his. And I was like, oh really? Like, I don't think so. And then I was watching him, I was like, yeah, we do have kind of like a very sarcastic, self-deprecating humor. We really do. That's almost kind of like just joking about the world. I mean, you know what's so funny is watching him, he kind of reminds me, like his humor kind of reminds me of my dad a little bit. So anyway, yeah, I misjudged him. I hadn't watched a lot of David, or I hadn't watched a lot of Jason Nash. So anyway, yeah, I think I'll keep on like watching him for a little bit. I need some new people to watch right now anyway. And he puts up content or videos pretty regularly. So, what was something else that I wanted to talk about? Oh, I wanted to talk about this Tara Westover interview. Okay, so, well, it was only 4 minutes and 34 seconds of this video that I saw saying goodbye to people. That it's okay to say goodbye to people. And it was so interesting because, you know, I talk about this a lot in my Peterisms channel about, I cannot believe that my battery is getting low. It is like, and I haven't even been filming for an hour yet on this camera. I'm so pissed. It's not flashing or anything. I can just see it that it's low. But I've done a lot of videos about toxic people and setting boundaries with toxic people and saying goodbye to toxic people and things like that. And one of the questions that I always get from people are, I understand you can do that with friends in your life or people that are in your life that are toxic, but how do you do that with family members? Like, it's not as easy when it's a family member. And, you know, in all honesty, like, I really haven't ever had to do that with a close family member where I've had to set a boundary or a limit, right? Except for my mom. I did with my mom, like, and I've talked about that. I didn't say that today in my Peterisms video when I talked about this. I'd forgotten about that. But, you know, when I got out of treatment, I did tell my mom, you know, like, I can't be around people that are drinking and using, and you're like one of those people. And she was like, surely you can't mean me, right? And I was like, yeah, you know. And I would love to tell you that that was the reason that she got sober, but it had nothing to do with that. She got sober because of my uncle having a heart attack. Massive heart attack, and she decided that if she lived to be, you know, another, you know, year or another 10 years or whatever, that she wanted the quality of her life to improve. But I'm just glad that she got sober either way. I don't really care what it took to get her there. But I've always been a little stumped when people ask me that question, because, you know, like, I've had so many friends of mine that have had really volatile situations with family members, and they don't really know what, and I'm not talking about like severely abusive and things like that's a completely different, that's something that needs professional help. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where like mom nags you, and you know, it's just a lot, and your parents depend on you and whatever, you know, it's just like, or you don't get along with your sister and you and her are like always fighting and arguing or whatever, you know, or you have a distant relationship. Well, anyway, you just have toxic relationships with family members. And so she went in there. Now, I have had friendships in my life where I have said, enough, I'm done. Like, I can't take this anymore. And I'm sure that people, and I in my Peterisms video today, I gave examples of how I'm sure people have done that with me in the past. And I gave one example of how somebody had done that with me in the past. But I've had to do that with friends of mine that I felt like they weren't bringing anything to the table when it came as far as a friendship. Like, it wasn't reciprocal, and I felt like I was just drained every time that I was with them. I don't know if you've ever had a friendship like that. I actually haven't had to do this in like years. Like, it's been years and years since that's happened. But I've had other, you know, friendships of mine that, like, I think mutually kind of just went south, maybe. But, like, I'm talking about where you are just kind of like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just can't do this anymore. It's too much, right? I haven't had to do it, like, in a long time. And I will say that it was more so when I first got sober that I had to do a lot of that, looking at, like, relationships and friendships that weren't healthy for me. But I haven't had to do it with a family member. So she goes in there and she talks about, the first thing is that you can love someone and you can say goodbye to them. And I've always loved that discussion because I think it's an important discussion to have. And I actually had a very, very dear friend of mine, my first year sober, that she and I, we just weren't on the same wavelength. And that was the year that I had actually watched the Oprah episode when she talked about setting boundaries with your friends or family and saying, like, I can't have you in my life anymore. I have to say goodbye to you. You don't even have to say it to them. You can just, you know, distance yourself. She was the first person that I actually had to do that with. And I'm not going to get into the story today, and I'll tell you why. Because 20 years went by, and we didn't talk in 20 years. And I felt justified in why I set the boundary. It wasn't anything horrific. It wasn't that she was a horrible person or that she didn't care about me or she didn't love me. She did, and I loved her. It just wasn't working. And I felt it was very toxic to my life at that time of being newly sober, and I was in a lot of environments and situations that weren't comfortable for me, and she just kind of disregarded that and didn't really care, and I just felt real disrespected, and I was done. Flash forward 20 years later, my very first boyfriend was her best friend, and she took care of him for the last 6 months before he passed away, and she and I started talking again, and it was the right time. Like, it was the right time for us to come back together. And I'm not going to say that I was the greatest friend to her either, because I can tell you right now, before I got sober, I put her through it. I mean, absolutely put her through it. Terrified her at times. We would be like in a car, I'd open a car door and just run out. Down an empty, she had no idea where I was, on some street downtown Indianapolis, you know? She was a very good friend to me and took care of me a lot. And she's not somebody that was ever a heavy drinker. Hell, I think the most she ever drank was like, she used to love that Manischewitz, that wine, that, you know, that wine that you get for like $3.49. Tastes horrible, but God, it would get you so drunk. I remember that. But anyway, she'd have like one glass of Manischewitz while we all sat there and drank. And she tried so hard. I remember her boyfriend and her one time, they got me, a 6-pack of like O'Doul's, like near beer, you know, that like, that beer that like only has like 0.3 beer, you know, alcohol in it. It's not supposed to get you drunk, but like I've never drank that since I got sober because it still has alcohol in it, so I don't drink it. But that was before I got sober, and she just was a really good friend, you know, but then this was later and it just was a lot. So then she came back. I'm gonna stop this because it's at like 29 minutes and 40 seconds, so hold on. Okay. I don't know how much battery I have left. But she came to my life like, you know, 20 years later. I mean, literally like, oh shoot, it wouldn't have been 20 years later, would it have been? When did Jack die? Maybe 15 years later, because it was about 10 years ago. She and I started talking again. And her life is completely different, and I wouldn't say we're the closest friends today, but we're very dear friends, and she knows I would do anything for her, and I know she's the same way, and I love her. And, you know, we had a talk about it, but not a real, it was kind of like it didn't even need to be said. You know what I mean? We had changed, we had grown up, we were different people. It was just at that time, I needed space, and I think maybe she did too, you know? So I love that idea of, you can say goodbye to people. I think often we think that that's not an option in our life. And then the second thing that she says is that you can miss somebody and you can love somebody, but that doesn't mean that you're supposed to have a relationship with them. Like, just because you miss somebody and I swear to God, I thought somebody was standing right here. It freaked me out. Just because you love somebody, like after you've set that boundary, right? Or they're not in your life, or you're a straight. Okay, I am so over this camera. You guys, the battery died, and I'm looking at it says the battery is fully charged right now. I just went inside and I just got the other battery that I had charged from the last time. This is insanity. I'm like so over it. I don't even know what I was talking about. I know I was talking about that Educated book, but I don't know what I was saying. I don't know why the battery is dying so quickly. I'm gonna have to get all 3 batteries fully charged before I come out here tomorrow night. But usually 2 batteries is enough. I haven't had this problem before. Well, no, that battery that I just had was fully charged, unless I have been like vlogging for over an hour. But I don't think I don't even know how long I've been vlogging now, from when I originally started to what time it is now. I don't know what I was saying about that book, although she's doing like a lot of like speaking engagements, and she's done like, I guess, a TED Talk and stuff like. Did she do a TED Talk like that? Let me look and see. She's apparently done like a TED Talk and all that stuff. But I wanted to read you this quote that she said in there. Not this quote. It was from scripture, which I'm never usually really affected by scripture, like in any kind of like, I mean, I like it, and I like Proverbs and things like that. Like they, I can like see past the biblical reference sometimes if I have to, but I don't really mind that it comes from the Bible. Like, that doesn't bother me, you know? Tara Westover TED Talk. What's it called? Oh, she does. What? No. I'm not seeing any TED Talk from her. Yeah, I'm not seeing a TED Talk from her. There was a CNN interview, there was a Bill Gates interview, the Ellen Show. She goes on and talks about all this kind of stuff. I want to finish the book first before I go in and look at a bunch of stuff. But she reads in this Oprah Soulful Sunday thing. Oh my God, I just pulled up the Aspen Institute Educated Conversation with Tara Westover. That's all she's doing is touring, I guess. But anyway, when was that from? 9 months ago. I mean, the book's been out for a while. She read this scripture from, I think it was Hebrews 11:1. Faith is and I wrote this down in my notes. I like write stuff down in my notes that I like. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I just loved that so much. I love, the discussion of faith, I think, in whatever you believe in. Whether you believe in a higher power or God or Buddha or, the universe or the wind or nothing at all. Do you believe in the earth cycles and whatever. I love the idea of having faith and what faith truly looks like. And I really, really liked that when I heard it today. And I don't know, it was just, she talked about basically that this idea of like faith is knowing that there's more purpose to what we're doing than just the day in and the day out. Something to that effect. And I really believe that, I think like have you ever like pulled out like a scrapbook or I don't know, like an old journal or something old, right? Like your old writing or whatever. I've been like looking through some of my old writing recently. And because I'm thinking about like reading some of my old short stories after I get done reading. I actually think I've done it a couple times on my BookTube channel, but when I get done reading the book, reading some of my short stories too. Like when you go in there and you like dust it off and then like you look through it and it like reminds you of like pieces of your past, remind you of like, oh yes, like I forgot that this was something I was so passionate about, or this was something, I forgot that this was the road that I was on or what I wanted to do with my life. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you all of a sudden you have this moment where you're like, I forgot completely, that of all these things that I don't know, I think, like I was talking a little bit about this last night when I was talking about that Lucy Jordan song from Thelma and Louise, the Marianne Faithfull song, but I think we wake up one day and we feel like life has kind of passed us by, when in reality that's not true. And I think that maybe instead if we look at that feeling of life has passed us by as a reminder that we're still living, and what do we want to do with our lives? I've been thinking a lot about my writing recently, especially since reading my book. And, like, I'm proud of having written a book, and I'm proud that I completed a book. But the book is not super deep. The book is not the book that I would write today. And I remember after writing that book, like one of the struggles that I found was that I was really struggling back and forth between, did I just want to write stories to entertain people, to help people escape? Because there's a huge part of like reading that I just enjoy, just escapism, Or did I want to write with a purpose, like I believe in like writing with intent or telling stories with intent, and I believe in living with intention, like what is the intention of your life and what are you doing and what's your purpose? And whether that is, like you're an insurance salesman and you want to have like, or woman, and you want to have like be the best at that, okay? Or maybe that's just your job and what you really care about is like being the best husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or parent to your dogs or a parent to children, which I think I believe is one of the most overlooked professions that we talk about, But if you're going to do that, do it with every bit of intention that you have. And I forget this often, that like whatever we're doing, to do it with intention. Like whatever you're doing, put your heart and your soul and love into it of what you're doing, right? Like, and that there should be faith that what you're doing is for a reason. Like there's a greater, you know what I mean? Like I believe that. You don't have to believe that, but I believe that there's some greater plan at play, and that I have to believe to some degree that things unfold the way that maybe they're supposed to unfold. Like, and that's what I believe, you know? And I know that a lot of people don't believe that. My husband doesn't believe that. But I believe that, you know? That things unfold the way that they're supposed to. Or if they don't, that there's meaning to be found in that. There's lessons to be learned. And, I don't know, I love those Oprah Soulful Sundays. I always learn something. Super Soul Sundays, I think they're called. I always learn something from every single one of them that I listen to. But I liked that. I really, really liked that. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Sometimes I most miss my mom in just being able to have conversations with her about things like she was my go-to person to have conversations with like that. And I think like Tanya and I have lots of conversations about just ideas and beliefs and things like that, you know? But my mom was somebody that I could just talk to for hours about stuff, you know, and just ask her like, well, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? And I miss her a lot for that, I think. Somebody suggested that I do a video where I just talk about all of my favorite old movies on here. I was like, I love that idea. I really, really love that idea. But I feel like I do that all the time. I don't know, like some of my favorite, I was thinking about this the other night because I like wanted to have like a movie night and show Alex like some of my favorite movies he's never seen. Some of my favorite like old movies are like, well, first of all the Alfred Hitchcock movies. I love, well, I have to tell you, like, one of them that's, like, my favorite that didn't used to be is The Trouble with Harry. I don't know why it has become, like, one of my favorites. But my favorites, okay, my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie of life is Rear Window. And then probably after that, I would say, what's the one with, where she sings, Que Sera, Sera? The Man Who Knew Too Much. And then I loved Birds, Psycho. The Birds, Psycho. I can't remember what else. Other ones I loved. So many of them. So many that I don't really remember, you know, like Stranger on a Train and Rope. Some of those I don't really remember. I have the whole set. One of my friends bought me the entire DVD set. Is that not amazing, of all of them? I loved, this is not Alfred Hitchcock, but I loved Arsenic and Old Lace. I loved Charade. I loved, what's the one with Cary Grant and Grace Kelly? To Catch a Thief. What's the other? Breakfast at Tiffany's. Of course, To Kill a Mockingbird is probably one of my all-time favorite older movies. I've loved Arsenic and Old Lace, so I used to love that. I used to watch it all the time in the fall. Let's see. The Trouble with Angels. I just talked about that the other night with Haley Mills. I didn't really love The Parent Trap so much, though. What other old movies did my mom and I used to watch a lot? Oh, the Nick and Nora Charles movies, the Thin Man series. Loved those. We used to always watch those on Christmas. Nick and Nora Charles were a couple, and they were like real rich, and they were detectives, and they had a little wire-haired fox terrier, which is what I had when I was growing up, and his name was Asta in the movie. And then Auntie Mame. I love that movie with Rosalind Russell, that version of it. You know, and then it like kind of goes into like the 80s, like the late 70s and the 80s. Like I loved Jaws. It terrifies me, but I love Jaws 1 and Jaws 2, or 2. I like the whole franchise I love, but I love Jaws 1 and like Jaws 2, just the storyline of what I have to say, after having read the book, though, it kind of like devastated me a little bit. When you read the book, it's a different story. I mean, it's the same story, but there's things that happen that aren't in the movie. But I love Roy Scheider's character in that movie, and he and his wife, who she goes like through all of them, I think through all 5 movies she's in, or something like that, or she's like in 1, 2, 4 or 5. Is there 4 of them or 5 of them? I think there's maybe 4. But anyway, she's in the last one, which is like in Jamaica, I think. And Out of Africa. My mom loved that movie so much. I mean, just some of my all-time favorite movies I'm trying to think of. Oh, North by Northwest was one of my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movies. I forgot all about that. With Yves Saint Marie. Is that what her name was? Yves Saint Marie? Yeah, I think so. Shoot, I can't remember. Legal Eagles I loved in the 80s. Oh my god, somebody mentioned Night at the Comet not too long ago. I was just thinking of that. I love that movie so much. I have all of these movies on VCR. Literally all of them. I should pull up my VCR collection. You guys would die. I love the movie Marie with Sissy Spacek. I love anything with Sissy Spacek, but Carrie. Carrie was like probably one of my least favorite movies. But Crimes of the Heart, Coal Miner's Daughter, Sweet Dreams. I'm just listing movies. Anything with Jessica Lange, Sissy Spacek, Diane Keaton. Those were 3 of my big favorite actresses of all time. When they were all together in Crimes of the Heart, I loved it. Steel Magnolias, loved that movie. Anything that's like Southern, I really, really like. Oh shoot, what's the movie? Norma Ray, loved that. What's the movie with anything with Meryl Streep? I love. What's the movie with Meryl Streep and Cher is in it? And shoot. I used to love Moonstruck. I haven't seen that movie in so long. But what's the movie where she gets contaminated? Meryl Streep gets contaminated. What is that movie? And Cher was up for an Oscar in it. She was so good. And I think Jeff Bridges was in it too. Oh, you know what movie I used to love with Jeff Bridges? I think it was Jeff Bridges, but it's the movie where he's with Michelle Pfeiffer. What's that movie with Michelle Pfeiffer? Hold on a second. Meryl Streep, Cher, Silkwood. Karen Silkwood, such a great movie. If you've ever seen it, oh my god, it's so good. I mean, there's so many movies. You have to understand, like, I grew up with, like, a mother that was, like, fanatical about movies. And my mom's favorite movies were a little different than mine. She loved some kind of, like, she loved Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers was, like, one of her favorite comedians of life. She loved anything with Steve Martin in it. I'm not, like, a huge Steve Martin fan. And I'm not a huge, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I said something about the movie The Jerk with Steve Martin. My mom used to talk about, she remembered the first time she ever saw Steve Martin on Johnny Carson, and she knew he was going to be a star. My mom also said that about Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, like the first time she ever heard them perform on something. She was like, she knew they were going to be like super famous. But I was talking to Alex about The Jerk, and he has like never seen the movie The Jerk, and I was like trying to explain it to him, and I thought, you know what, like that movie is so, like, if you think about it, a lot of the movies back in the day were so highly offensive. Like, if that movie came out today, Steve Martin would not be famous. Like, that movie would not fly today. The movie The Jerk, like, people like thought it was hilarious. Like, that would not fly. People would not be okay with that movie today. And it shows, it's interesting, you know, like, the times they are changing. And I wasn't a big fan of that movie anyway. Like, that wasn't, I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't like, I'm not a huge, like, I like Steve Martin, but, oh, I'll tell you, I love the Fletch movies with Chevy Chase. I thought Chevy Chase was hilarious. I used to think he was real good looking back in the day. I love the Fletch movies. Fletch 1 and Fletch 2. I think there's 2 of them, but Fletch 1 is my favorite. I loved any of those kind of like comedy adventure movies, like, oh my god, what's the ones with Eddie Murphy? Beverly Hills Cop. I love those, all of them. The FX movies, did you guys ever see those? Those weren't comedies, but those were really good. FX 1 and FX 2, I loved those. I can't think of the guy's name in it, but I can see that scene where his like girlfriend gets shot through the window. Oh my god, that movie was so good. Brian Dennehy, I think he was in those movies though. I love those movies. And then, like any kind of adventure, kind of like I would say like Legal Eagles, that was with Deborah Winger. Oh my god, Terms of Endearment. Loved that. Oh, The Way We Were. I mean, that was probably one of my all-time favorite movies with Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford. I watched American Gigolo with Richard Gere. Didn't love it. I wouldn't say that's one of my favorite movies. My mom loved the movie Shampoo with Warren Beatty. I didn't love that movie. A lot of movies that my mom loved, I like some of them I liked, and some, she loved musicals. I wasn't like a huge musical person. She loved like The King and I and Oklahoma, and I didn't mind them, but like Annie was like probably my favorite, and that was about as deep as it got for me. But I used to listen to some of those soundtracks and stuff. What other movies? Well, Into the Night with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Pfeiffer is probably one of my all-time favorite movies. Like, honest to God, like To Kill a Mockingbird and Into the Night are probably like my type. I love that movie. I've watched it so many times, and if you've never seen it, it's about Jeff Goldblum, and his wife is having an affair, and he wants to get like out of, like he just needs to escape for a couple days, and so his friend, who is Bill Murray, is it Bill Murray or no, it's not Bill Murray. It's I can't think of what his name is now. But anyway, tells him to it's the guy that was in Trading Places, which is another movie that I absolutely love with Eddie Murphy and what's her face? Oh, that was in Halloween. She's so fantastic in that. Why can't I think of what her name is? She played Laurie Strode. Why can't I think of her name? Oh my gosh, she's so famous now. Oh shoot. What is her name? Her mom's Lee. Janet Leigh is her mom, I think, right? Oh shoot. I can't believe I can't think of her name. I'm looking up Halloween cast. Why can't I'm like losing my mind? Jamie Lee Curtis, yeah. Oh, I love all the Halloween movies. Phantasms I liked in high school a lot. Those scary movies. I just love scary movies, period. Something Wicked This Way Comes. I actually just put that on my Instagram today. I love that movie. Any Halloween movie I loved back in the day. Anything that was Halloween related. I loved the movie Arthur when I was growing up. That was me and my dad's movie. With Dudley Moore. I mean, so many movies. So many movies. Ruthless People, Romancing the Stone, loved Romancing the Stone, and Death on the, not Romancing the Stone, and Jewel of the Nile was the sequel to that. I love the Agatha Christie movies, Death on the Nile, and, what was the other one that was on the island? Evil Under the Sun. I loved those two movies. I mean, I could just go on and 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 on. But I'm not going to. So I'm going to get off here now because I don't know how long I've vlogged for because this is my second vlog of the night. So anyway, I have no idea. Like, I'm going to have to piece this thing together somehow. So anyway, listen, I hope you guys are having, and thank you so much for watching this crazy out there all over the place vlog tonight with batteries dying and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Please put a blue heart if you have made it this far into the vlog, and a blue heart for the OG wolf packs over here, for the people that love to watch this, and how about a red heart for the essential workers out there, the healthcare workers and people on the front lines at grocery stores and convenience stores and everywhere. Please put a red heart for them. So blue heart and a red heart, and or as many as you want. And thank you so much, you guys, for watching, and I appreciate it. And yeah, it means a lot to me, and you guys are really helping me get through things by coming out here and vlogging every night. So anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing, what is tomorrow? Oh my God, it's Thursday again already. I hope you're having an amazing Thursday, unless you have other plans, but like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow, a week from now, or a year from now. And make sure that you look at yourself. No, I didn't say the important part yet. The important part is, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you, and remember that always. And if you need to hear it, just rewind it and say, I love you. I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say all your daily positive affirmations about what a wonderful day it's going to be. And I'm going to give you one today that you should look in the mirror and you should say every single day. And that is, you should look in the mirror every single day and tell yourself, I love you. We need to love ourselves first, don't you think? And the best way to practice it is by looking in the mirror. And it's hard. It's really, really hard. Do it. Close the door, lock the door, turn on the water if you have to, and look in the mirror and tell yourself you love you. It feels corny and cheesy at first, but you really have to start practicing self-love. And the reason for that is so that we can give back to others, which is the next big part of that. And the most important part is to reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you today and just say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm thinking of you and I love you. And today I'm going to dedicate this video to all of you out there. So anyway, yesterday Valerie got the dedication. Today, all of you get the dedication. I told her today when I was talking to her, I said, yeah, I dedicated the video. She's like, did you? I was like, yeah, you didn't watch my vlog all the way through. Anyway, liar straight for the pit of hell. I love you anyway, Valerie. She doesn't have, nobody else in my life watches any of my videos, so I'm totally fine with that. She actually does. She like watches them every single day. It cracks me up. Well, I guess that's not true. Most of my friends and family watch like my review videos, which cracks me up. I'm like, why those? So anyway, my cousin Caroline said because they're short. I'm like, they're no shorter than my other videos. Anyway, so yeah. Let somebody know how much they mean to you and how much you care about them. And don't forget to practice random acts of kindness. And the most important part of that is don't tell anyone. Just do it because it'll make you feel good inside. And yeah, and we're trying to put love and compassion and kindness out in the world. So that helps us do that, right? And it'll help you get in the good place. No, I'm totally joking. But if you've watched the show, you know that's the premise of the show. It's the truth. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you're staying happy, joyous, and free, and you are peaceful and content all day today. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!